I glanced at my phone, frowning at the caller ID. Patricia. My mother-in-law rarely called, especially not at this hour. I took a deep breath and answered. Hello, Patricia. Is everything all right? Alexis, dear, I'm sorry to bother you, but have you noticed anything strange about Bill lately? I paused, caught off guard. Strange? What do you mean? Oh, I don't know. He's been so distant lately, barely returns my calls, and when he does, he seems distracted. I walked to the kitchen window, peering out at our manicured lawn. The sprinklers kicked on, misting the air. I haven't noticed anything unusual. He's been working late, but that's normal this time of year. Patricia sighed heavily. I suppose. It's just, a mother knows when something's off with her child. I'm sure it's nothing, I said, more to reassure myself than her. But I'll keep an eye out. Is there anything specific you're worried about? There was a long pause on the other end. Well, it's probably nothing, but I overheard him on the phone the other day. He was speaking in hushed tones, and when I came into the room, he hung up abruptly. My stomach tightened. Who was he talking to? He said it was work, but Alexis. I think it was Clara. I nearly dropped the phone. Clara? His cousin Clara? Yes, I know it sounds crazy, but I swear I heard him say her name. My mind raced. Bill and Clara had always been close, but they'd drifted apart after our wedding. Why would he be calling her in secret? Patricia, I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation. Maybe they're planning a surprise for you? She laughed bitterly. At my age? Doubtful. No, something's not right. I can feel it in my bones. Just then, I heard the garage door opening. Patricia, Bill's home. I should go. Try not to worry, okay? I'll talk to him. I hung up and busied myself at the kitchen counter, trying to calm my racing heart. Bill walked in, loosening his tie. Hey, honey. How was your day? I asked, keeping my voice light. He shrugged, heading for the fridge. Same old. Yours? Fine. Oh, your mom called. Bill stiffened almost imperceptibly. Yeah? What'd she want? I studied his face carefully. She's worried about you. Says you've been distant lately. He rolled his eyes. Mom's always worried about something. I've just been busy with work. She mentioned overhearing you on the phone, thought she heard you talking to Clara. Bill's jaw clenched. That's ridiculous. I haven't spoken to Clara in years. Are you sure? Because your mom seemed pretty certain. He slammed the fridge door shut. Jesus, Alexis. What is this, an interrogation? My mother's paranoid, and now you're buying into it? I took a step back, startled by his outburst. I'm just telling you what she said, no need to get defensive. Bill ran a hand through his hair, sighing. I'm sorry. I'm just stressed from work. Look, I've got a big presentation tomorrow. I need to go over some notes. He brushed past me, heading for his office. I watched him go, a knot forming in my stomach. Something was off, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Later that night, I lay awake, Bill's steady breathing beside me. Patricia's words echoed in my mind. A mother knows when something's off with her child. I turned to look at my husband's sleeping face. Did I know him as well as I thought I did? Or was there a side to Bill I'd never seen? As sleep finally claimed me, one thought lingered. I had to find out the truth, no matter the cost. The next morning, I couldn't shake the unease that had settled over me. Bill had left early for his presentation, barely saying goodbye. I found myself staring at the phone, debating whether to call Patricia. Finally, I dialed her number. Alexis, is everything all right? Patricia's voice was laced with concern. I'm not sure, I admitted. Can we meet for coffee? There's a lot I need to ask you. An hour later, I sat across from Patricia at our local cafe, watching her stir her latte absently. She looked tired, worry lines etched deeply around her eyes. Tell me everything, I said softly. About Bill, about Clara. I need to know what's going on. Patricia sighed heavily. It started about 6 months ago. Bill began calling less, making excuses not to visit. When he did come over, he was distracted, always checking his phone. My heart sank. 6 months. How had I not noticed? And Clara? I prompted. Patricia's eyes met mine, filled with a mixture of sadness and anger. I overheard him on the phone with her 3 times now, always speaking in hushed tones, always hanging up when I entered the room. What were they talking about? I couldn't make out much, but... Patricia hesitated. One time I heard him say, I miss you too. We'll figure something out. The words hit me like a physical blow. I gripped my coffee cup tightly, trying to steady myself. There's more, Patricia continued, her voice barely above a whisper. Last month I saw Clara at the grocery store. She was different, glowing almost. And Alexis, she was wearing a necklace I recognized. It was my grandmother's pendant, the one I gave to Bill on his 18th birthday. I felt the blood drain from my face. Are you sure? Patricia nodded grimly. Positive. I confronted Bill about it later, but he brushed it off, said he must have misplaced it years ago. My mind was reeling. The late nights at work, the secretive phone calls, the sudden distance between us. It all started to make a horrifying kind of sense. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I asked, unable to keep the accusation from my voice. Patricia's eyes filled with tears. I didn't want to believe it myself. I hoped I was imagining things, that if I didn't say it out loud, it wouldn't be real. I reached across the table, squeezing her hand. I understand, but Patricia, we need to know for sure. We can't just sit back and let this happen. She nodded, a spark of determination lighting her eyes. What do you want to do? I took a deep breath, steeling myself. I'm going to dig deeper, check his emails, his phone records, anything I can find. If there's proof, we'll find it. And if there is, Patricia asked, her voice trembling. I met her gaze, feeling a surge of anger and resolve. Then we make them pay, both of them. As we left the cafe, my phone buzzed. A text from Bill. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. I showed it to Patricia, who shook her head in disgust. He's with her right now, isn't he? The realization hit me like a punch to the gut. Probably, I managed to choke out. Patricia pulled me into a fierce hug. We'll get through this, Alexis. Together. As I watched her drive away, I felt a strange mix of emotions swirling inside me. Anger, betrayal, fear, but also a grim determination. Bill and Clara thought they could fool us, destroy our family without consequences. They were about to learn how wrong they were. I climbed into my car, my hands shaking as I gripped the steering wheel. It was time to hunt for the truth, no matter how ugly it might be. And when I found it, there would be hell to pay. I paced the living room, rehearsing what I'd say to Bill when he got home. The clock ticked past midnight, each second fueling my anger. Finally, I heard his key in the lock. Hey, Bill said, looking surprised to see me awake. I thought you'd be in bed. We need to talk, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. He sighed, loosening his tie. Can it wait? I'm exhausted. No, it can't. I crossed my arms. What's going on with you and Clara? Bill froze, his face a mask of shock before he quickly composed himself. Clara, what are you talking about? Don't lie to me, Bill. Your mother heard you on the phone with her, multiple times. He laughed, but it sounded forced. Mom's imagining things. You know how she gets. Is she? I pressed. Because she saw Clara wearing your grandmother's pendant, the one you said you lost. Bill's face darkened. Has my mother been filling your head with these ridiculous stories? Alexis, come on. You know me better than that. I wanted to believe him. God, how I wanted to, but the doubt had taken root, and I couldn't shake it. Then explain the late nights, the secretive phone calls. Explain why you've been so distant lately. I told you, work has been crazy. These accusations are insane. Clara's my cousin, for Christ's sake. His anger seemed genuine, but something still felt off. I decided to push harder. Prove it, I said. Show me your phone. Let me see your call history, your texts. Bill's eyes widened. What? No, that's a complete invasion of privacy. I can't believe you don't trust me. If you have nothing to hide, what's the problem? He threw up his hands. The problem is my wife acting like a paranoid lunatic. Listen to yourself, Alexis. This isn't you. Tears stung my eyes. You're right. This isn't me, but I don't feel like I know you anymore either. Bill's expression softened. He stepped closer, reaching for me. Honey, I love you. Only you. Whatever your mother-in-law thinks she heard or saw, she's wrong. I would never cheat on you, especially not with Clara. I wanted to fall into his arms to believe every word, but the seed of doubt had grown into a thorny vine, wrapping around my heart. I need some time, I said, stepping back. I think you should sleep in the guest room tonight. Hurt flashed across Bill's face, quickly replaced by anger. Fine, if that's what you want, but this conversation isn't over. He stormed off, leaving me alone with my swirling thoughts. I sank onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. What if I was wrong? What if Patricia's suspicions were just the paranoid imaginings of a lonely old woman? But then I remembered the look on Bill's face when I mentioned Clara. The way he refused to show me his phone, the months of distance between us. No. Something wasn't right, and I was going to find out what. I crept upstairs, pausing outside the guest room. I could hear Bill's muffled voice through the door. He was on the phone. I know, it's complicated. No, she doesn't know anything for sure. We just need to be more careful. My heart pounded so loudly I was sure he'd hear it. I pressed my ear closer to the door. I'll figure something out, I promise. I love you too. The words hit me like a physical blow. I stumbled back, barely making it to our bedroom before collapsing on the bed. It was true. All of it. As the first rays of dawn crept through the window, I made a decision. No more confrontations. No more asking for the truth. It was time to take matters into my own hands. If Bill wouldn't give me answers, I'd find them myself. Let the hunt begin. The next morning, I waited until Bill left for work before springing into action. My hands shook as I booted up his laptop, grateful he'd never changed the password I'd set up years ago. This felt wrong, invasive, but I needed answers. I started with his email, scanning through countless work messages and junk mail. Nothing suspicious. Then I noticed a folder labeled Personal Projects. My heart raced as I clicked it open. There, buried among innocuous files, was an email thread with Clara. I took a deep breath and began to read. Bill, we can't keep doing this. It's not fair to Alexis or the kids. I know, but I can't imagine my life without you. We'll figure something out, I promise. Maybe we should tell them the truth. It's been months. My vision blurred with tears. Months. They'd been carrying on this affair for months, right under my nose. I kept scrolling, each message twisting the knife deeper. Plans for secret rendezvous, declarations of love, discussions about their future together. It was all there, in black and white. Then I saw it. An email from last week with an attachment. I clicked it open, my breath catching in my throat. It was a receipt for a diamond ring. The room spun around me. Bill was planning to leave me, to start a new life with Clara. How could I have been so blind? I printed out the emails, my hands moving on autopilot. Then I deleted the folder and cleared the browser history. Bill couldn't know I'd seen this, not yet. I called Patricia, my voice barely above a whisper. You were right. About everything. Oh, Alexis, she sighed. I'm so sorry. What are you going to do? I stared at the stack of damning emails on the desk. I don't know, but I can't confront him yet. I need time to think. Of course, dear. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. As I hung up, a notification pinged on my phone. A text from Bill. Working late again, don't wait up. Rage boiled inside me. No more lies, no more secrets. It was time to see this affair with my own eyes. I called our neighbor, asking her to watch the kids for a few hours. Then I got in my car and drove to Bill's office. His car wasn't in the parking lot. My hands gripped the steering wheel as I tried to decide what to do next. Where would they meet? A hotel? Clara's place? Then I remembered something from the emails. A mention of a special spot by the lake. It was worth a shot. I drove to the secluded area, my heart pounding. As I rounded a bend, I saw them. Bill's car, parked next to another I didn't recognize. I killed the engine and crept closer, staying hidden behind the trees. And there they were, standing by the water's edge. Bill and Clara, locked in an embrace. I wanted to scream, to run out and confront them, but something held me back. This was the proof I needed, but it wasn't enough. Not for what I had planned. I took out my phone and snapped a few pictures, my hands surprisingly steady. Then I retreated to my car, unseen. As I drove home, a cold determination settled over me. No more tears, no more doubts. Bill and Clara thought they could destroy our family and get away with it. They were about to learn how wrong they were. I pulled into our driveway, my mind racing with possibilities. It wasn't enough to just confront them. No, they needed to feel the full weight of their betrayal, to experience the same public humiliation they'd subjected me to. I smiled grimly as a plan began to take shape. Patricia had mentioned a family reunion coming up. What better place for a grand revelation? It was time to start planning my revenge. And when I was done, Bill and Clara would regret ever crossing me. I couldn't sleep that night, my mind racing with the images of Bill and Clara by the lake. As dawn broke, I found myself back at Bill's laptop, driven by a desperate need to understand the full extent of their betrayal. This time, I dug deeper, searching through hidden folders and archived messages. What I found shattered any remaining hope I had of salvaging our marriage. There, in a password-protected file, was a detailed plan for their future together. Bank statements showing large transfers to a joint account, property listings for houses in another state, and most devastating of all, a draft of divorce papers with my name on them. My hands shook as I read through their exchanges, each word a dagger to my heart. "I can't wait to start our new life together, away from all this," Clara had written. Bill's response made me physically ill. "Soon, my love. Once everything's in place, we'll tell Alexis and be free." Free, as if I was some kind of prison he needed to escape from. I printed everything, adding it to the growing pile of evidence. As I stared at the stack of papers, something inside me snapped. The hurt and betrayal crystallized into a cold, hard rage. I picked up my phone and dialed Patricia's number. "Alexis? What's wrong?" Her voice was thick with sleep. "I need to see you," I said, surprised by the steadiness in my tone. "Now." An hour later, we sat at Patricia's kitchen table, the evidence spread out before us. I watched as she read through it all, her face growing paler with each page. "My God," she whispered, looking up at me with tears in her eyes. "Alexis, I'm so sorry. I never imagined it was this bad." I nodded, my jaw clenched. They were planning to leave, to start a new life together and leave us all behind. Patricia reached out, clasping my hand. "What do you want to do?" I took a deep breath, steeling myself. "I want them to pay. Not just Bill and Clara, but everyone who knew and kept quiet. They all betrayed us, Patricia. They made fools of us." She nodded slowly, a fierce light coming into her eyes. "The family reunion. It's in 2 weeks. Everyone will be there." A grim smile spread across my face. "Perfect. We'll expose them in front of everyone they've lied to. Let them feel the humiliation they've put us through." Patricia squeezed my hand. "Are you sure about this, Alexis? Once we do this, there's no going back." I met her gaze, my resolve hardening. "I'm sure. They don't get to just walk away from this. They need to face the consequences of their actions." We spent the next hour plotting, our heads bent together over the kitchen table. As the plan took shape, I felt a twisted sense of satisfaction growing inside me. Just as we were finishing up, my phone buzzed. A text from Bill. "Hey, honey, running late again. Don't wait up." I showed it to Patricia, who shook her head in disgust. The nerve of him. I stood up, gathering the evidence. "I should get back. I need to act normal until the reunion." Patricia walked me to the door, pulling me into a tight hug. "Stay strong, Alexis. We'll get through this together." As I drove home, my mind was clear for the first time in weeks. The path ahead was set. In 2 weeks, Bill and Clara's perfect little world would come crashing down around them. I pulled into our driveway, noting Bill's car was still gone. Probably still with her, I thought bitterly. But as I walked into our house, the home we'd built together, filled with memories now tainted, I made a solemn vow. This would be the last night I spent under the same roof as a liar and a cheat. The last night I played the role of the oblivious, devoted wife. In 2 weeks, everything would change, and I would emerge from the ashes of this betrayal stronger than ever. Let the countdown begin. The 2 weeks leading up to the family reunion were the longest of my life. Every moment felt like walking on eggshells, pretending everything was normal while rage simmered just beneath the surface. Bill, oblivious to my knowledge, continued his charade of late nights and work emergencies. Patricia and I spoke daily, fine-tuning our plan. We decided to make a presentation at the reunion, ostensibly to celebrate Bill's recent promotion. In reality, it would be the stage for his downfall. The night before the reunion, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. Bill's steady breathing beside me made my skin crawl. How many times had he lied to my face, then crawled into this bed we shared? Morning came, and with it a surge of nervous energy. I dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that made me feel powerful. As I applied my makeup, I caught Bill's appreciative glance in the mirror. "You look beautiful," he said, kissing my cheek. "Ready for the big day?" I forced a smile. "More than you know." The drive to Patricia's sprawling estate was tense. Bill chatted about work, about how excited he was to see everyone. I nodded at the right moments, my mind focused on the USB drive and my purse containing all the evidence. As we pulled up, I saw Clara's car already parked in the driveway. My stomach clenched. "Look who beat us here," Bill said, a little too casually. I bit back a bitter laugh. What a surprise. The reunion was in full swing when we arrived. Family members I hadn't seen in years greeted us warmly. I watched as Bill and Clara carefully avoided each other, stealing glances when they thought no one was looking. Patricia found me by the punch bowl, her eyes questioning. I nodded slightly. It was time. She clinked her glass, calling for everyone's attention. "Thank you all for coming," she began. "We're here to celebrate Bill's recent success at work. Alexis and I have prepared a little presentation. Bill, Clara, why don't you come up front?" I saw a flicker of panic cross Bill's face, quickly masked. Clara looked confused but moved to join him. My hands shook as I connected the USB to the large TV in Patricia's living room. The familiar desktop appeared, and I opened the folder labeled Bill's Achievements. "As you all know," I said, my voice surprisingly steady, "Bill has always been dedicated to his work. But recently I discovered just how creative he's been." I clicked on the first file. An email from Bill to Clara appeared on the screen, full of passionate declarations of love. The room fell silent. "What is this?" Bill demanded, his face pale. I ignored him, clicking through more emails, bank statements, property listings. With each revelation, gasps and murmurs rippled through the crowd. "Alexis, stop this right now," Bill hissed, reaching for the remote. I jerked away from him. "No, Bill. I'm done stopping. I'm done pretending." I turned to face the stunned family members. For months, Bill and Clara have been carrying on an affair. They've been planning to leave us all behind and start a new life together. Clara let out a choked sob. "Bill, you said you'd handle this." The room erupted into chaos. Accusations flew, people took sides. Through it all, I stood firm, Patricia at my side. Bill's face contorted with rage. He lunged for me, but Patricia stepped between us. "Don't you dare touch her," she spat. "You're no son of mine." As security escorted Bill and Clara out, I felt a strange mix of vindication and emptiness. The truth was out, but at what cost? Patricia squeezed my hand. "It's done," she whispered. I nodded, watching as my marriage, my life as I knew it, crumbled around me. But beneath the pain, a spark of something new flickered to life. Freedom. Strength. The chance to rebuild. The storm had broken, but the aftermath was just beginning. The aftermath of the revelation was a whirlwind. Family members crowded around me, some offering comfort, others demanding explanations. Through it all, I stood firm, my eyes fixed on the door where Bill and Clara had disappeared. Patricia's voice cut through the chaos. "Everyone, please. Let's give Alexis some space." As the crowd dispersed, murmuring in shocked clusters, I felt a hand on my shoulder. I turned to see Uncle George, Bill's father, his face ashen. "Is it true?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "All of it," I nodded, my throat tight. "I'm sorry, George. I wish it wasn't." He shook his head, eyes brimming with tears. "No, Alexis, we're the ones who should be sorry. How could we not have seen?" Before I could respond, the door burst open. Bill stormed back in, his face contorted with rage. Clara trailed behind him, mascara streaking her cheeks. "How dare you?" Bill snarled, advancing on me. "You had no right to air our private business like this." I stood my ground, feeling Patricia and George flanking me. "No right? You lost any right to privacy when you decided to betray our family." Clara stepped forward, her voice trembling. "Alexis, please. We never meant to hurt you. We fell in love. You have to understand." "Understand?" I laughed bitterly. "Understand that my husband and his cousin have been sneaking around behind my back, planning to abandon their families? Please, enlighten me." Bill's eyes darted around the room, taking in the hostile faces of our relatives. "This isn't how this was supposed to go," he muttered. "No," I agreed. "I'm sure you had a much neater exit planned. Tell me, Bill, when were you going to serve me with those divorce papers I found? Before or after you emptied our joint accounts?" A collective gasp went through the room. Bill paled, realizing just how much I knew. "You went through my personal files?" he sputtered. "And you went through our vows like they meant nothing." I shot back. Clara stepped between us, her eyes pleading. "Please, everyone, we can work this out civilly. There's no need for all this drama." Something inside me snapped. "Drama? You want to talk about drama, Clara? How about the drama of explaining to my children why their father abandoned them? Or the drama of facing our friends, our colleagues, knowing everyone will be whispering about how I wasn't enough to keep my husband from straying?" I advanced on her, my voice rising. "You two didn't just have an affair. You systematically destroyed two families. You lied. You schemed. You betrayed everyone who ever loved you. And for what? A fantasy of running away together?" Bill grabbed my arm, his grip painfully tight. That's enough, Alexis. You've had your revenge. Now let's discuss this like adults. I wrenched away from him, my eyes blazing. Don't you dare touch me. We're far past discussion, Bill. You made your choice. Now you get to live with the consequences. Patricia stepped forward, her voice ice cold. Bill, Clara, I think it's time you left. You're no longer welcome in this family. Mom, Bill started, but Patricia held up a hand. No, I've made my decision. Go. As they turned to leave, defeated and humiliated, I felt a sudden wave of exhaustion wash over me. The adrenaline that had carried me through the confrontation ebbed away, leaving me hollow. Patricia wrapped an arm around me, steadying me. It's over, Alexis. You did it. I nodded, watching as Bill and Clara walked out of our lives. But even as relief flooded through me, a new fear took hold. What now? How did I begin to rebuild my life from the ashes of this betrayal? As the door closed behind them, I realized the hardest part of my journey was just beginning. 6 months after the fateful family reunion, I stood in the courthouse, my heart pounding as the judge delivered his verdict. In the matter of Alexis Thompson versus William Thompson, this court grants full custody of the minor children to Mrs. Thompson. Mr. Thompson will have supervised visitation rights to be reviewed in 1 year. I exhaled slowly, feeling Patricia's reassuring hand on my shoulder. We'd done it. The divorce was final and my children were safe. As we left the courtroom, I saw Bill standing alone, looking lost. For a moment, our eyes met. I expected to feel anger, hatred even. Instead, I felt nothing. He was a stranger to me now. Clara left him, Patricia murmured as we walked past. Seems their grand love affair couldn't withstand the scrutiny. I nodded, unsurprised. How are you holding up? I asked her. Patricia's eyes misted over. It's not easy, disowning your own child, but he made his choice. Now we make ours. The following weeks were a whirlwind of change. I sold our family home, unable to bear the memories it held. With Patricia's help, I found a cozy house closer to the kids' school. It was smaller, but it was ours. A fresh start. One evening, as I unpacked boxes in our new living room, my daughter Emma approached me, her face serious. Mom, are you happy now? She asked. I paused, considering her question carefully. I'm getting there, sweetheart. It's been hard, but we're going to be okay. She nodded, then hugged me fiercely. I'm glad you told the truth about Dad and Aunt Clara, even if it hurt. Tears pricked my eyes as I held her close. Sometimes the truth is painful, but it's always better than living a lie. As Emma went to bed, I found myself on the porch, staring at the stars. Patricia joined me, handing me a glass of wine. Penny for your thoughts? She asked. I sighed. I was just thinking about how much has changed. A year ago, I thought I had the perfect life. Now you have a real life, Patricia finished, with all its mess and complications, but it's yours, Alexis. You fought for it. I turned to her, feeling a rush of gratitude. I couldn't have done it without you, Patricia. You've been more than a mother-in-law. You're family. She squeezed my hand. And don't you forget it. We're in this together now. As we sat in comfortable silence, I reflected on the journey that had brought me here. The pain of betrayal, the thrill of revenge, the fear of an uncertain future. But through it all, I discovered a strength I never knew I possessed. My phone buzzed with a text. It was from my lawyer. Bill and Clara both served with restraining orders. It's done. I showed Patricia the message, feeling a weight lift from my shoulders. It really is over, I breathed. She nodded, raising her glass. To new beginnings. I clinked my glass against hers. To family, the ones we choose. As the night deepened around us, I felt a sense of peace settle over me. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but I was ready to face it. I had my children, I had Patricia, and most importantly, I had myself. The perfect life I thought I had was gone, shattered by betrayal and lies. But in its place, I'd built something stronger, something real, a life of my own making, full of love, truth, and resilience. As I headed inside, I paused at the door, taking one last look at the star-filled sky. Tomorrow was a new day, full of possibilities, and for the first time in a long time, I couldn't wait to see what it would bring. The end of one chapter, but the beginning of so much more. My story, my terms, my brighter horizon.